Alright folks, if you've been around the theme park community block for say the past year or so, you would know that it gets very diverse in some situations. People will disagree with one another on every single thing, whether that's, oh, Toon Lagoon and the Big 2-6, those characters are so irrelevant. And then people will also say, oh no, don't worry about Islands of Adventure, they got Hagrid's and Velocicoaster, they need to work fully on Universal Studios. That park is so outdated. Now, to be fair, I totally agree with those 100%. But if there's one thing that everybody in the theme park community can agree on, is that the Simpsons land in both Universal Studios Florida and Universal Studios Hollywood will permanently close by 2028. All right, everybody, it's official. Let's start planning the funeral. I already know what casket we're gonna use, how much flowers we're gonna need.
Yes! Yeah!
Except the Simpsons might actually stay at Universal.
But why?
But wait, you need to know why everybody thinks it's going to close in 2028. Hello everybody, my name is Bryson McKinney and you're watching KidAdrenaline. And we're doing a segment today called The Worlds of Adrenaline, Episode 1, Springfield Live. If you like what you see here, subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. Now, let's get started. Now, this rumor has been going around for so many years that it basically feels like a confirmed fact. That the contract for The Simpsons between Universal and, at the time, 20th Century Fox will come to a close in 2028. This date is exactly 20 years from when The Simpsons first came to the parks. And the belief is that Universal will not be renewing that contract. But I am here today to disprove that theory. Now, I'm not saying the Simpsons franchise is as popular as it was back in the 90s or the late 2000s when the Simpsons lands first opened. And it goes without saying that this is not a Universal-owned property. It is a third-party license agreement. This basically means that Universal put a franchise that they don't own into their parks, so they're basically promoting another franchise for their competitor, and they stand to gain nothing from this outside of theme park revenue. Unlike some actually owned Universal franchises that are in the parks, such as Jurassic World or Minions. And when you put it like that, it sounds clear, right? I mean, you have a franchise in your park that you don't own, it is nowhere as popular as it once was, and have to pay licensing fees to your competitor. So, why would they not get rid of it? I mean, it makes sense, right? Why can't you just get rid of it? Just give it the old wrecking ball treatment and replace it with something that's more popular and ideally is owned by NBC Universal. This way, you can make money from all four fronts, whether that's TV, digital, movies, and of course, the theme parks. And that way, you don't have to share any of the pie with your competitors. Now, you're probably watching this and saying, Bryson, where's the twist? Well, folks, I mentioned 20th Century Fox earlier, but they got bought out by the mouse. And by the mouse, I mean Disney. So if you thought, hey, the Simpsons are totally outdated, just get rid of their land, but Universal wants to extend their contract because they see something else, well, Disney being on the other side of that is not exactly probably going to be the most receptive to Universal's offer. This means that Disney's either going to say, no, no way, never, not in a million years. Or they're going to make a harsh offer to where it's either too expensive or they're going to make a really bad deal to where it's, hey, you take Marvel out of your park and we'll give you The Simpsons. Well, I can tell you that Universal's probably not going to want to do that. Well, there you have it, folks. You got a franchise that as it gets older and older, it's going to become more irrelevant and outdated. And then you have Disney, who's going to block any offer that Universal has. It's over. Even if Universal wanted to keep or extend their contract with The Simpsons just a little longer, it's over. It could not happen. Let's just throw in the towel. Except, of course, we know it's not over, because why would I be making this video? I still think The Simpsons have a glimmer of hope to stay at Universal Studios past 2028. Now, I'm not saying forever. I'm just saying for a little while longer, like 5 years or so. Okay, that's actually kind of a long time, but you get what I mean. This is because The Simpsons have something that not a lot of other IPs have, and that is knowledge. Now, I'm not talking about like intelligence or book smarts, but you've seen how stupid Homer is, right? No, I'm talking about how almost everybody knows who the Simpsons are. Now, they might not be as popular as they once were, but they know the characters, they know the locations, and most of all, they know what type of comedy they deliver. And when I say locations, I mean like there's this whole restaurant inside Universal Studios Florida in the Simpsons land to where it's a bunch of different Simpsons themed food. And it's still very popular. It's actually one of the most popular quick service restaurants at the park. Which leads me into reason number 2, which is merch. There is no doubt that merch is one of the most successful things in theme parks that make them money. Which is why people buy Simpsons merch left and right. I mean, sure, it's not as popular as like Harry Potter, Jurassic Park, or Super Nintendo World, but if I rank this on a tier list, it would definitely be up there, probably around like A tier. Another thing is that if you go into any Universal Studios store, you're always going to find a dedicated Simpsons section. I mean, sure, it's not going to be a big one, but even in Islands of Adventure, even in one of the stores at the front, there is a store with a dedicated Simpsons section. And Simpsons is not even in that park. Now, last but not least, reason number 3, and this is the biggest. It would change their construction timeline. Now, as you know, across Universal Orlando's 4 parks, they have a lot of construction going on. Because there's work to be done in the Lost Continent for Islands of Adventure. Epic Universe is trying to build a new Harry Potter attraction. And Universal Studios is now building their Fast and Furious coaster. Now, the Fast and Furious coaster for Universal Studios is set to open in 2027. Now, you're probably thinking, Bryson, they could just open the Fast and Furious coaster, then work on Simpsons next. Well, that's not the case. Because in 2027 also, Universal has announced that Fast and Furious Supercharge will also be permanently closing. But it's not just Universal Studios you need to think about. You also need to think about how there's Islands of Adventure next door that has an entire land that has no rides, and that is the Lost Continent. And it wouldn't make sense for them to prioritize The Simpsons over the Lost Continent, which has nothing to do. Kind of just nothing. I mean, the fountain's really cool. I mean, check out me talking to it on one of my YouTube shorts. But it just wouldn't make sense, so they need to do the Lost Continent first. Oh, and I just realized you have Epic Universe that's 15 minutes down the road, and they're facing capacity issues. I mean, for the longest time, people thought after Epic opened, they'd just focus on the old park. You wouldn't see a new attraction at Epic for about until 2030. But now Epic is facing some capacity issues to where they have to get an attraction in there as soon as possible. There you have it, folks. That is all the reasons why I think Universal prefers, or why I personally think Universal is going to want to extend their contract with The Simpsons for at least another couple years. Now, of course, all of this is speculation. None of this is official. This is what I personally think Universal is going to do, and what I think I would do if I was Universal. But what are your thoughts on it? Comment down below. And if you like what you saw today, subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. And I'll see you on episode 2 of the Worlds of Adrenaline. But before I go, I would like to give credit to Attraction Ideas. They are the ones responsible for all the in-park footage you saw today.